Hi everyone, it's Lynn from Finds of Yesterday, and today is part 3 of the brooch video. We're finally getting to the last video of all the brooches I got from this one sale. This time it's all kinds of round, starburst, western, even cat brooches. So let's jump right in, but if you like this video, like and subscribe. So let's see what I all got. All right, let's get started. I have about 40 brooches that we're going to go through. Most of them are vintage. There might be a couple newer ones in there, but for the most part, they all look vintage. And let's just jump right in. If I have time, I'll go through all of them. So this first one is a gold tone leaf swirl brooch. Very pretty. I would guess this is from the 50s. Here's a nice clasp. It's got the swirl clasp on it, and the pin does not go past it. So that means it's probably from the, I would say, 70s. Then we have this gorgeous rhinestone brooch. Gosh, I could see this on a black dress or a blue or just any pretty darker dress where it would stand out in the 50s. Because you see all these little squares on the back here, that's a sign that it's from the 50s. And another detail is the pin goes past the end of the clasp. So that tells me it's earlier probably than the 60s, because then they started making the clasp where the pin is within this swirl part, so nobody will get stuck by it. This one is pretty. It is, I'm pretty sure it's black. It's on black, it's not showing very well. And silver and rhinestone swirls. Gosh, that's really cute. It almost has a B shape to it with wings. And it has this kind of a newer clasp on it, so that tells me it's newer just by looking at that. It looks older though. They did a good job of making it look vintage. This is a pretty, looks like amber. It has a gold back on it though. It's making it glisten. The pin looks like from the 50s, because if you look at the center part and how it's adhered at the center, and the pin goes past the end of the clasp. Boy, it looks like amber. This next one is a beautiful flower rhinestone, round. I say round more so than flower. This one is probably from the 50s as well. Maybe the 60s. Really pretty. This one is an Anne Klein. It's brand new, or should be brand new. Let me take it off of this. Alright, so here's what it looks like on the back. Has a swivel clasp. One thing I'm noticing is it doesn't say Anne Klein or AK, or she doesn't sign hers. So the only way I would know that is because it's on the original backing, which somebody could have replaced that too, so it's hard to say. Then we have this cute little filigree pin with this beautiful pink rhinestones. Actually, I wonder if they're plastic. They kind of look plastic to me. It's very lightweight. Here's that V-shaped clasp. That's typical of the 50s. And you can see not all pins go past the end of the clasp back in the 50s. So that's probably about the time frame they started changing over. Alright, next one is this double ring It's got texture to it, or ribs. It's a nice size brooch. It's fairly big, like it could be worn on a coat. It looks lacquered. See how shiny it is? And look how deep the pin is, like it would work on a coat well. It's got a different type of round swivel. So this is newer. I feel like this is a lot newer, maybe the 80s. This is a interesting little rope double bow piece. It's not signed. That little center piece is not signed. It looks like from the 40s or 50s because of the clasp. See how far the pin goes past the end? It's not very nice metal though. See how it's tarnishing? That one I might not list just because it's tarnished pretty bad. Here's a cute little bow. This one's a lot shinier than that last one. Here's what the back looks like. Looking for a signature, which I don't see. There's the clasp. It's a round clasp and the pin goes past it a little. I would have thought this might have been a little newer until I looked at the clasp and the pin going past the end. Makes me think it's from the 50s. Very nice. These two are kind of a cheaper metal, but they're pretty old. They call these scatter pins. Ignore the $1.50. I think I actually paid $1 for them at a rummage sale. Or no, at the jewelry sale. That's their marking, I think. But let me get them off of this so we can see the back. They're pretty dirty and like the coloring's coming off of them. And the glue, it looks like the glue has been, it's over top the beads. I don't know, I'm having a hard time with these, whether I would even list them or not. I think I might. I'm going to try to clean them up and see what happens. This is kind of just a nice little general brooch. I like the little filigree, not filigree, but the little flower pieces in between. That really adds detail to it. Here's what the back looks like. The glue is all over in it. It's not a high quality one. And it's got the little pendant where you can hang it on a necklace. I'm guessing this is probably from the 70s. Love this one. It's a starburst. It needs to be cleaned up. It looks like there's something red sticky on it. Love it. Starburst, probably from the 50s. Look at the rivets on the back. That tells you 50s. Maybe that's rust on there. It's a cheaper metal, a thin metal. It's got the round clasp. The pin is behind it. Pretty yellow stones though. We have this next one, which is kind of they're frosted stones. I think there's a name for them, but I really can't remember what it is. I would say this one's from the, gosh, I'm having a hard time with this one. 50s, 80s. Let me put the pin in there. It looks like it's going past. Nope, it's still in there. I almost want to say the 80s. I might try selling it for about 15. Here's a pretty one. I always love dangles on brooches. They're pretty thick dangles too. This one looks like 40s, 50s. See that pin sticking past the end there? It's probably earlier, like 30s or 40s. See how the back is done? Just take note of all that stuff, because then the more you see, the more you'll understand the age of them. Very pretty. I'll probably try selling that one for, I'd say I'd list it at $18.99. Here's a nice ring. This would be nice with a scarf. Gold tone backing. Swivel clasp. Cute little pearls. Very nice. This one is interesting. It's got the AB rhinestones. I'd say from the 80s. I'd probably put $16.99 on that one. This one, we've got kind of like looped tassels, and this metal is real thin. It's like pressed metal. The nice faux pearl on it. No name. I'm guessing this is probably from, oh, the 60s. That's my guess. Then we have some more scatter pins with AB rhinestones and filigree. See how thin that metal is? And this is from the 50s. Look at the rivets on the back. I hate to take them off the paper because then they might get separated. Really pretty. We got a black one. I'm going to set this down, but you can't see it very well. So all these little black rhinestones on silver setting. Very nice. Probably 1940s to 1960s. That one's kind of hard to determine. This one looks older to me. Nice ribbon stone with rhinestones in it. Very nice. I would say I would put $18.99 on this one to $20. It's probably from the 30s or 40s. And we have a really pretty one. I love the combination of colors on this one. And look at the texture they did in the middle on the leaves. So you've got little turquoise, they're faux turquoise, with like a plum color, almost a fuchsia purple with the gold. It's just such a pretty combination. It's probably around the 50s. Yep. See the V-shape clasp with the rivet? That's determining 50s pin. And the pin actually goes past the end a little bit, past the end of the clasp. So good sign it's earlier. This one is very unique. It's a little cat with a little beaded edge. Probably from the 40s. It's also got a pendant hook on it, so you could hang it from a necklace. Isn't he cute? Some cat lover is gonna love that. This next one is a real pretty filigree, like spun silver. See the back? The back is stamped U.S. Zone Germany, it says. So that means this was made between 1946 and 1949, right after the war, when the U.S. Occupied Germany at that time. It's got real pretty AB rhinestones. They're probably Czech stones. Very nice filigree. We got some pretty blue ones coming up. This one almost looks like a snowflake. 1950s. Cute. And here's another one that is in like a turquoise color. Oh, they're so cute. These I love. Silver and turquoise together is so pretty. Cute, cute, cute. And this one goes with the other one, so there's a couple scatter pins. We have another one, royal blue with gold. I like that they used the teal color in between the royal blue too. Gave it a little more depth. 1950s. Can you guess why? All these pins are probably in the $15 to $25 range. I might try a little bit higher on the US Zone one since it's marked. This one needs to be cleaned up. It's got some tarnish on it. That's a 1950s one from the rivets. Right before, you know, when the starburst effect was popular. Pretty royal blue. I've had pins like this before. They had usually in turquoise, and a lot of times in this pink and baby blue color as well. Pretty. Oops. Filigree. It's thin metal that's got lots of cutouts, and can determine it easily. Pin, the round clasp. This one, I believe, could be newer. I'll have to look at the back. That is really a pretty design. Metal tassels. And it's a pendant. It's not actually a brooch. Well, I'd say it's from the 1950s, because look at the little squares. That's usually a sign from the 50s. I've said it over and over again. I'm surprised. It looks newer. Like a newer piece that was made to look vintage. A pretty heart with a pearl drop. Open heart with lots of flowers. I'd say almost looks Victorian, but it's newer. So maybe 60s, 70s. Isn't that interesting? It's like an angel. Little stones on the side. And her halo of rhinestones. 1950s. I wonder if this is silver. I do not see any marks. Probably not. It's just a pretty Christmassy brooch. This is a cool 1950s one. I love this. That's got so much character. There we go. Sign of the 50s again. I guess these brooches were all divided up into the 50s. Brooches were popular back then. This is another gorgeous silver and blue one. And look at that gorgeous turquoise hint to it. And just so pretty. It's filigree. See how thin that metal is, and it's got lots of cutouts and rivets for the middle. So that means the 50s. Reminds me of my grandma. We have a red one for once. This one looks Christmassy. That's pretty too. It's got enamel center with clear rhinestones and pearls. Is it missing one? Nope. There's the rivet in the middle. Good sign that it's from the 50s. And we have another pretty, just gorgeous bling. 50s. Pin is past the end just slightly. And we have a cute little Western one with a gold bow tie. Mostly silver with a gold bow tie. It's like pressed. It's real thin. It's a pin. Not sure how to date that one. 70s, possibly. And we have a pretty pink one. This one's kind of little, but look at them stones. They are gorgeous. I'd say 60s, maybe 50s, because see how these squares are, but they're not as distinct anymore, so probably the 60s. Then we have a gold swirled rhinestone ring, 1950s. The pin goes past it a little bit, no signature. Pretty. That would make a good scarf one. Then we have a bar one with pearls. Boy, these pearls look almost like real pearls. See how they have the iridescent glow to them? And it is not signed. Not signed on the back. I'd say from the 60s, but I almost believe that them are real pearls. I don't know how to check to find out for sure if they are. Here's a cute little gold bar pin. Nothing extremely fancy about it, it's just pressed. We have some frosted rhinestones, marquee shape. The round one in the center, probably from the 40s, because look at that pin going way past the end. That's just cute. Now here we got some jewel tones. Isn't that pretty? This would be pretty on a light color. Look at that. Gorgeous. I believe this is newer. I want to say 70s, 80s, maybe 60s. And I'm saying that because of the little square that we're still seeing on the back here. If I looked at the front, I would say 80s. But then turning it around, I'm thinking 70s. But looking at them squares makes me think even earlier. That one, I'll probably put at least $20 on. This is just, look how pretty that is on black. Black and silver on black. It's mostly silver. There's so many pins like this that can be reproduced, so there's nothing telling me that it's old. With the striations, I think you call them, on the back. A lot of times you see that on newer pins, but I've started noticing it on a lot of vintage pins as well, so I'm starting to get a little confused on it. I'm guessing this is newer, more like a reproduction from the 80s. We have one left, and it's a cute little ribbon pin. This one's definitely old. These are not rhinestones on here. If you can look closely, it's like little spots of enamel. It's like they put little droplets of enamel. You can see it more on the end piece. On an antiqued gold setting. It does have something marked in the middle. Go back. OOS, or my guess is that it said 700 on it at one time, and it's 70% gold, or 70% sterling is my guess. I'm not positive on that. I have to look that up again. The pin goes past it a little on the end. It's probably from the 30s or 40s, but that is all we have today. Let me do a quick view of everything that we showed. Some really pretty brooches. These are all my rounds, and this is part 3. And that's the end of the brooches that I got from this large lot from a sale. So let me know which one was your favorite. Here's another view of all the pins. Which one did you like best? So I hope you enjoyed it. If you do like these kind of videos, please like and subscribe. And I will be sure to put out more. Thanks for joining me.